Hello, Jamie Griffin here from MrJamieGriffin.com, and today I'm going to give you a brief walkthrough on how to get your Tiller automated budget set up and actually functioning. So at this point, I hope you've got your Tiller budget ready to go. This is your monthly budget, and I'm going to show you how to categorize your expenses so that your transactions, when they pull up, you can easily choose from the drop-down menu which category they go to, and your budget takes care of the rest. So on the bottom here, you're going to want to click this tab that says categories. And from there, it's got a list of categories for you to choose from. These are already populated, but the cool thing is you can change these. So I'm just going to use examples from my own budget. I do gas. Another one of ours is giving. I'm just going to do regular clothes. We do groceries. We have a household one. Miscellaneous is good. Mortgage. My wife and I are both teachers, so instead of just saying paycheck, we like to figure out where our income is actually coming from. So we do teaching. We work at a restaurant as well. Instead of restaurants there, I'm going to put going out to eat. Our only subscription we really have is Hulu. Vacation, utilities, parking. Okay. But you get the idea. So you can go in here and change these to whatever you spend your actual money on, and things are popping up in your bank account. So if yours look different, if you have, there probably should be one for like electricity and cell phone, car repairs, parking is on here, utilities. So whatever you're spending money on, my wife and I have a date night fund. So we like allot a certain amount each month for going on dates because we think that's important. And so then from there, you're going to choose which group you want this to go in. And it's got little like helpers here. So these little black arrows give you an idea of what that like column is for. So this one you can create categories, and it just helps you stay organized. Groups is your top level, and then categories kind of nestled underneath that. So you can change these whatever you want. So some of these are living expenses. This one I'm going to put under a car because it is. I'm going to put this under gifts. Clothes, discretionary is good there. Living, discretionary, mortgage, living. I like income better than earnings. Put this under food. You can put it under living. Again, you can really design this however you want to. There's no right or wrong way to do it, which is a really great thing that I like about it. The next thing we want to do is what type of transaction is it? Is it an expense? So gas, giving, I would count as an expense. Clothes are an expense. Expense. We get down to income. Teaching is an income. The restaurant, the bartending, and serving my wife and I do is an income. Transfer, maybe you have a credit card payment that you just transfer from one, like your checking account into make the payment. We have that through our Wells Fargo. We also have other credit cards like Chase and Capital One that we're earning points for, and those are more, we just pay them on there. So you can leave that as transfer. And then your next one is hide columns from reports. So certain things you might not want to pull up in the reports, like maybe transfers isn't an actual expense. You're just moving from one account to another. So it doesn't make sense for it to show up in the reports that Tiller's going to run. And actually, if it does show up, it might mess up your data. So we don't want that. And groceries is definitely something I want to show up in my expenses. So all I have to do is click the box and hit delete. And so that's how you set up your categories. From there, we're going to go to our transactions tab. And this is why the categories is really important. This sheet has a list of all of our expenses and incomes that's pulled it straight from our bank account. And so I suppose you can get a sneak peek into our bank accounts here and what we spend money on. But you got your description of your expense as it is listed in whatever financial institution, your bank or your credit card that you have, the date that it was made on, the amount, again, what account it came out of, and this is the category. So we just got done creating categories. Now we have a drop-down menu. So if I click this drop-down menu, these are going to match exactly with what I had on that sheet. If I notice, this is an investment. I look on here, I don't see anything in investment. So I could go back to my categories and add one there. I'm not going to do that for right now, just because this is just a walkthrough and we don't need that. But Cenex, I know that's a gas station, so that's going to go under gas. Dairy Queen, this was under date. We went on a date to the movies, and then naturally when you go to the movies, you have to get Dairy Queen afterwards because it was a 9 a.m. movie. Dropped her daughter off at daycare, and we're on our way. All right, so going out to eat. So independent school district, that is going to be our teaching income. We've got a couple of those here. So as you can see, this makes budgeting so much easier. You don't have to enter all these things in by yourself. All you have to do is choose what category it comes out of once you get this part set up. What would we put that in? It'd be under date. We'll put it under miscellaneous right now. And then I'm going to show you, or that's how you set up your categories. And that is really simple to do. And then that is going to affect your yearly budget, your monthly view. Those numbers are going to go in there. I actually forgot to show you one more thing under categories. So going back to our categories tab, at the top, we've got all of our months of the year listed out. So it says here, enter the budget amounts into January, and they will populate into the rest of them. So for gas, if you don't already know this, try to make a guess at how much you spend on gas per month for your car. We spend about $200 on gas every month, and that's going to fill in the rest of them. Giving, we give our tithe, which is separate than this. Otherwise, giving gifts is $75 a month. Our groceries is $250. So you can start adding these in here. We'll put our miscellaneous at $50. And it's filling in. Teaching at, we'll say, $4,000 a month. All right, so I'm going to stop that there. And the cool thing, once you do that, is it's going to start showing up in your actual budget. Now that's the amount we've budgeted, and then it takes into account your budget, which is what I put in there. So gas, if we're spending $200 in gas a month, that's $2,400 for a year. Based off the expenses that I've actually chosen the category for, I went to that little drop-down menu. We spent $52 in gas. It's got that budgeted in here. So our income, I chose one in there or two in there and actually chose the income category from the drop-down or the teaching, and it's in there, $1,097. So according to this, it gives us our yearly breakdown. So that is why it's so important to categorize your expenses. That's the first thing you're going to want to do when you get here. And once you categorize them, and then start actually choosing the right categories for all of your transactions. So there you go. That's how the basics of this Tiller monthly budget works. There's all kinds of other stuff in here that I'll show you in a different video. But for now, that's the gist of making categories and getting your budget set up. So good luck. Have some fun tinkering with that. It'll take a little time to get set up, but once it's set up, it's pretty darn awesome and pretty darn automatic. So enjoy.